Welcome to the DJ and Finance Podcast. And in today's episode, we're going to look at the first quarter progress in 2026 of my 3 core ETFs. DJ Finance. What's going on, everybody? My name's Kamal, aka Swiss the DJ, aka Mr. Morrison, and this podcast is all about me documenting my journey on the road to financial freedom. Today, I want to break down the core investments in my portfolio and how they performed so far this year. The core of my portfolio is centered around 3 ETFs. The first one is VFV.TO, XQQ.TO, and XUU.TO. Simple, US focused, and long term. Let's break it down. I'm not trying to outsmart the market. I'm trying to own the market. VFV gives me exposure to the S&P 500, the 500 largest companies in the US. XQQ gives me heavier exposure to tech and growth companies. For example, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Apple. XUU gives me the total US stock market, including small and mid-cap companies. So together, I'm basically saying I believe in the US economy long term, and I want broad exposure with a slight tilt of growth. And that's it. No stock picking, no guessing, no reacting to headlines. It's been a very interesting year so far. Depending on who you're listening to, you've seen volatility in tech stocks, interest rate uncertainty, and some pullbacks after strong runs last year. In my opinion, I think a lot of the uncertainty, and I still think there's a little bit of it, is due to the conflict with the US and Iran. So guys, we're gonna start with my S&P 500 ETF from Vanguard. As you can see, in the really early stages of January, it pops up, and then you can see the downward trend here. But in the beginning of April, we have a nice spike, and as you can see, it's up over 5% for the year. If we look at my total US stock market ETF, this is XUU.TO, kind of follows a very similar trend. And as you can see here in the beginning of April, it goes upwards too. As a lot of people might say, these funds are kind of very similar, but you know what? For someone like myself, I like variety. And as you can see here, year to date, it's up just a little bit over 5% for the year. Now we'll look at my last ETF. This is my NASDAQ ETF, XQQ.TO. And just like VFV and XUU, it's up a little bit, but then we have a slight downward trend. And just like before, the other 2 ETFs, the beginning of April, we have a nice spike in upward trend. And year to date, this ETF is up over 10% for the year. Sorry, not over 10%, just about 10% for the year. And as you guys can see, I'm very pleased and happy with the returns of my core ETFs thus far. So what's next? Honestly, nothing. I'm still going to be investing consistently. I'm still going to be buying my core ETFs, and I'm still focused on long-term growth. This strategy, it pretty much boils down and is based on financial independence, long-term growth, and compounding over decades. I'm just pretty much doing and mimicking what has worked in the financial independence retire early community. You know what they say, don't try and reinvent the wheel. I believe that consistency will beat reaction. However, with all that being said, I am considering about contributing a little bit more to my Canadian ETF. The ticker symbol for this is ZCN.TO. It holds about 222 companies, and there's a large focus on the financial sector in Canada. ZCN is only about 3% of my portfolio. It does pay a decent dividend of about 2%. Now, the TSX actually outperformed the S&P 500 in 2025. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to change my core ETFs and core strategy, but it is something I'm going to keep my eyes open and monitor and see what happens. I'm also thinking about investing in an international ETF that invests outside of North America. The one that I'm looking at right now is from Vanguard and the ticker symbol is VIU. Just looking at some ways I can diversify my portfolio as I'm on this financial independence journey. Adding an international ETF is actually a popular option for people in the FIRE community. At the recording of this video, it's early May 2026 and VIU is up 8% for the year. In 2026 so far, the lessons I've learned from my investing is just to keep it simple and don't waver from the strategy that's working. You know, the funny thing, the beginning of the year, the volatility, it actually created a lot of buying opportunities for investors. Assets were on sale. My long-term thinking and staying consistent has served me well thus far this year. That's the core breakdown of my ETFs and how they perform so far this year. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who you think this might help. Until the next time, guys, I'll catch you in the next episode.